Welcome to another episode of Will There Be Cake? I'm your host, Amber Simpson, and with me, as always, my lovely co-host, Robert Lamb.
Robert Lamb. That was me.
Yeah, no excitement there. But we do have a very special guest joining us once again.
I don't know if it's very special. Just
Ian
special at this point.
Feller.
Special. Depends on how you
special.
define special.
Ian Feller.
Hello, everybody. Thank you.
I just mean, like, I think we reserve the very special for, like, people who haven't been on the podcast yet.
Oh.
You've been on the podcast, so it's just like a special.
All
I guess.
right.
It's like a special time.
He's one of my
And then
favorites.
Eat some cake.
But
though.
then
Let's eat some cake.
eventually, he's just going to be a guest.
Yeah.
Once
A
you're on,
very
like, 20
guest.
of these, you're just a guest.
You're just a very guest because
Yeah.
you've been on.
You're just another guy in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes very special, very guest.
Love
Cool.
it. Well, today is a very special holiday to me.
Okay.
To me, and a lot of people out there nowadays, you know, it was big and then it wasn't big and now it's big again.
Oh, what are we talking about?
We were talking about vinyl records. It is National Vinyl Record Day.
Vinyl record day.
Yeah.
That's good.
That's
I
good.
prefer the vinyl records over the plastic records
Yeah.
or
Those-
the metal records, but
You scratch
it's
too
very
easily.
exciting.
Yeah. No, vinyl is definitely the way to go
Vinyl
in
is
the
the way.
record.
The records,
record medium.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, National Vinyl. Do you own any vinyl records, Robert Lamb?
I do not personally own
Okay,
any,
get
but I
out.
did buy
did?
some for my dad for his birthday.
Oh.
I bought him like a whole new record player and everything
That's
like
very
that.
nice.
Oh.
He had a bunch of
He has
records.
a
He got
collection?
rid of them. No, he
Oh.
got rid of all his records, like his old records, a long
Why?
time ago. And it's a long story.
That's lame.
But-
He should have given him
Yeah,
new.
no,
needed to,
but he
needed
liked
to pay
them.
for Robert to go to college.
Probably.
That's what it was. Yeah. No, he didn't. He had like a
He
decent.
needed to send him to podcast school.
Yeah, that was money well spent.
Well spent.
Yeah.
Yes. You could tell by this wonderful.
In fact, because of the podcast, though, I was able to buy him his gift.
Wow.
See, so
Thank you,
that was
everybody.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Thank
was
you,
money well
everybody,
spent.
for listening.
Although it wasn't that much.
I was gonna
like,
say-
it was like 5 records.
5
so-
records, and they were all very used and very scratched.
Yeah.
And probably a shitty record player, too.
How
much
Not
money?
the best.
Yeah.
But, I mean, well, it was like 150 or something.
Yeah,
like
that was a
Yeah.
shitty record player.
I'm not going to spend a bunch.
No,
Am I
whatever.
spend $500 on a record player?
Yeah, I mean, what does he care? It's just his dad.
It's
It's
just
my
his
it's my
dad
dad, and he's
with these
he's
records
hardly
that he
ever
bought
gonna
him.
he's
He
gonna
only helped
hardly
birth
listen
you.
to him.
What does that matter?
He didn't help. He had sex with my mom.
Somebody had to.
Planted his seed.
I just saying he didn't really help much. You know what I mean?
All right, you just made a donation. And
But now that you say that, I guess I got to buy my mom a record player too.
a nicer one,
Yeah.
upgrade. Get a
No,
cassette
I think
player.
I got him I did get him some of his favorites. Like I got him Dark Side of the Moon.
Nice.
I got him Rumors, the Fleetwood Mac.
Very nice.
And then I got him a couple of like best ofs, like the old like 60s bands, like the Zombies and Love and Spoonful and stuff like that. So
Very nice. Very
Yeah.
nice. Good
Not bad.
choices.
Was that a Father's Day gift?
Oh, and I gave him a
Present?
David Bowie one, but I forget
Ooh.
which one it was. It might
Ziggy Stardust.
be Ziggy Stardust. Yeah, that's probably the one.
Did you buy them? Were they new or were they
A few of them were new. The
used,
big ones were new.
original used, or were they new pressings? Like what was the story?
No,
there?
here's the thing. Not to get into this already, but I don't know much about records. I never really collected records. But I went to like a couple record stores, picked some up, and then I also ordered some off of Barnes & Noble. When I ordered them off of Barnes & Noble, they were like brand new, but they were like on sale, like different ones and stuff. So I got Rumors.
Right.
I got the David Bowie one, and then I got the Strokes, because my dad actually likes the Strokes too.
Nice.
I got him the Is This It? The one with
Nice.
Last
Yeah,
Night on
all
it.
right.
The problem was when I got those like shipped to me, they were kind of a little bent, and I was like,
The
I hope
records
these play all right.
themselves?
Yeah, so I was like, I hope this is all
Should
right.
have shipped him back.
Well,
Yeah.
so then I tried playing them. I was like, I'm just gonna open them. Sorry, Dad, I'm just gonna open them and play them and just see if they work. So I did that, opened them, played them. David Bowie worked fine, but Rumors and the Strokes were skipping like a lot.
Right.
So I was like, all right, I'll return them. So I actually went to Barnes & Noble, returned them. They were like, yeah, that's fine. They just gave me my cash back. So I did that. I went to a record store, ended up buying those records again, like at the record store, brand new again, brought them back, tested them out just because, and the Rumors one was working, but the Strokes was skipping again.
Weird.
And I'm like, but this is another brand new one, and it wasn't
weird.
shipped, and it wasn't bent. So I brought it down to the record store, and I was like, hey, I don't know what's wrong with this, but it's got to be the actual record. I'm like, I know I'm not doing anything wrong. So I gave it to him. The guy was like, I don't know. He's like, if it was brand new, it shouldn't really be the record. I'm like, well, I'm new to this stuff, so maybe not. So he's like, let me play it on our speaker system. So he plays it. It's playing fine for a little bit. I'm like, great. This is going to be like taking your car down to a mechanic where nothing happens.
Nothing ever happens.
But then finally it does start skipping. And he's like, oh, this is a bad pressing.
Oh,
So I was like,
wow.
yeah. So I was like, I'm like, all right. So I just got my money back for the Strokes album. Then I went on Amazon and I was like, let me see if I can buy it on Amazon. Then I see it only has like 4 stars. And I'm like, oh, this is a good album. Why is it only got 4 stars?
Read the reviews.
Right. So I read through the reviews, and so many people had problems with the bad pressings.
Really bad pressings?
Yeah, just skipping all the time. Like
Interesting.
certain
It happens.
songs unplayable.
Yeah,
So I was like,
I guess so. Yeah.
Never happened to me, and I have a shit ton of records.
Right. Yeah.
with-
Same here.
That's crazy.
yeah, I don't know. It's just
Well,
that Strokes
For
one.
for novices like Robert in record
Yeah,
collecting,
it's my fault.
If you buy an album that's warped
Don't
or bent,
take it. Yeah.
won't play properly.
No,
They
I
need to be
figured
flat.
that much, but the other one was flat and it still didn't
Still
play.
didn't work. All right.
And when
Well,
I
it's a
looked
good
it
thing
up,
that you tested it
Yeah,
out
it's
the
a good
second
thing.
time. huh?
Well,
well,
thing brought it
also the people at the record store said, "Oh, this must be why that when people buy this one or want to order this one, they want the UK version." So I looked it up and like I saw on Amazon,
Huh.
people were like, "Get the UK version."
Look at that.
Yeah. So I was like,
American
"All right."
quality.
Yeah. I thought I was being a novice, but it turns out
You're an expert.
Wasn't
Look at
it?
you.
Yeah.
You
You're an
learn
expert.
stuff.
honestly, and I didn't
Genius.
want to say this right away, but honestly, I think I'm better than you guys at this point.
Probably. Close enough.
Yeah.
Very exciting.
Anyways,
Records.
that's the one vinyl record story
Yeah.
I have.
It's a good story.
Thanks.
It is a good story.
Solid
Yeah.
Act 3
And now I
3-act
understand.
structure.
Now I understand why you invited the old guy to the group, because I'm the only one here that actually bought records when there was
When they
nothing
were-
else to buy
Right.
but records.
When there wasn't
but
CDs.
records. You
and-
had to
Yeah.
buy records.
You had to buy records. There was no choice.
That sucks.
It was 8-track or records. And records were advanced.
That's pretty awesome, though.
Yeah.
What was your first record you ever bought?
The first record I ever bought was Kiss Alive 2.
Kiss Alive 2. Okay.
I don't
Nice.
know what that is.
Oh, it's Kiss.
The band
Oh,
Kiss.
Kiss.
Yeah.
Thought the name-
It's a live double album.
Kiss.
Kiss
You
Alive
needed
2.
you needed a space in there. Kiss.
Kiss.
Live
Kiss
too.
Alive
too.
dash Alive 2.
Kiss. Sorry. Colon.
I'm like, what's
Live
Kiss
too.
Alive?
Kiss Alive. The sequel.
sequel.
The sequel to Kiss Alive. No, that's
Nice.
cool.
Somebody help me.
I
What's yours?
don't remember my first record. So I got a bunch of like old records from my mom that it was like the Village People and a bunch of
Solid.
like
Nice.
old country stars. Like it was a bunch of really shitty records. And then I started going record shopping before I even have a record player. I got these records and I went shopping with Ronald Russ when we were hanging
yeah.
out with him for a while. We used to go to record stores and like buy random records, but I
How'd
honestly
you play them?
I didn't play them. I just
With
kept
her
them.
She just got a pin and just spun it
Right.
around on the top.
I just thought they were cool and I wanted them. And then like vinyl records blew up again. And then I bought a record player and started buying them more often.
I think collectibles just in general blew up again. Like, because vinyl, there's, like, when you look
Even
at, like, vinyl stores and
cassettes
stuff, cassettes
are
I've
big right
seen,
now.
Yeah.
Tapes.
Really?
Like, yeah.
And I've even
VHS
seen
tapes.
some people,
I have a few
yeah.
friends that collect VHS
Really?
tapes
Do I
now.
want to buy
It's-
any? I have a whole bunch.
Right?
Yeah, they still
Probably.
have. I've just seen a lot of, like, these stores I've been looking up. Like, when I go online and stuff, I watch, like, the Angry Nintendo Nerd
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah.
He's a huge, like, collector, and he talks about, he goes to, like, these different stores, like, where you can just buy collectible stuff, and a lot of it's vinyls, VHS,
Yeah.
cassettes.
Tampa has a VHS store.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Because Robbie
Crazy.
and Vicky go there all the time. They usually look for like cult movies. Cult
Yeah,
films.
because a lot of movies weren't transferred to DVD
Yeah.
and a lot weren't transferred to Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And then if you try to stream, like, streaming's like great if you want like newer movies, but I like a lot of old movies, and there's not a lot that you can choose from with like older films on streaming services.
It's hard to find older movies.
Yeah, I search for Cary Grant, and like 2 movies pop up,
Yeah.
and I've seen them, so I'm like, okay,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Hmm.
But so vinyls, I can see why they kind of like came back too.
It's also a more pure sound. I mean, that's
Yeah.
how music was supposed to be. You're supposed to hear the hissing and the scratching, not
And the-
perfect digital.
You don't like that perfect.
Even though
digital-
now you
I
can
mean, I
buy
do like
like.
it, but
you're like
but I remember the good old days when
Sometimes it
you had
sounds
to
better
turn the-
though. Sometimes
when the
it
song
does.
ended, you had to turn the album over, put the record
God,
back
it's such-
on.
It's a pain in the butt, but it's great.
You're like
When
Peter Boyle.
You have
on,
to pay attention because at the end of like 20 minutes, when the side ended, all of a sudden your music would end. What happened?
It's also nice to listen to, like, nowadays, it's rare that I listen, like, to a full album. Like, unless it's a new album that hasn't come out and I'm like, oh, I like this band, let me check out the full album. But I rarely listen to a full album unless it's on vinyl anymore. Because why?
Because it was too hard to move the needle.
Right.
To hear one song
Exactly.
at a time.
Makes sense, I guess.
Plus, you can never find like the start of the song. You put
Yeah,
it down.
yeah.
Like, that's the end of the other song.
Right.
Let's move it again.
I'm
I missed
just
the
going to
first
listen to the
15
end of this
seconds.
awful song to get to the good
You
one.
guys are literally like arguing in the sense of like that one episode where Peter Boyle on Everybody Loves Raymond was saying the exact same stuff. Like everybody, like Raymond went out and bought his dad like all new CDs and got rid of the records and stuff and was like, here's all your CDs, like I got rid of your records to make room and stuff, and he got all pissed off.
Yeah,
I
I'd be
don't blame
pissed
him.
off too.
And he was
Yeah.
like, I don't want that. And he's like, but it's clearer sound and everything, or like in his Raymond voice. And then
Nice.
Peter Boyle was
How about
like,
that?
no, I like the scratching and the hissing.
Yeah.
and
I
all
still
that
have
stuff.
all my old records from the ones I bought when I was like 8 years old.
That's awesome. He probably has some that are worth a lot of money.
Yeah, maybe. I do have a few very collectible ones.
Good for you.
Yeah. First early printings, first pressings.
First pressings, yeah.
It's like weird. Like
So
I
it's
like
hard
all that kind of stuff. Like I like all the historic meanings and like the fact that like, you know, VHS, like I like the hissing and like the static and all that kind of like that stuff doesn't bother me, but I'll still choose to listen to songs on like YouTube or something like that over.
I think it's just like, to
Just
me, like a
convenience.
vinyl record is
Right,
a nice
right.
thing to put on when you're like hanging out in your house. Maybe when you have a party, maybe when you're just, to me, it's like I like to chill in my house, smoke some weed. So I'll put a record on when I'm cleaning or when I'm like doing something that doesn't involve me, like not watching TV or reading or anything like that. But it's a
Right.
nice, like relaxing thing to
It
put
becomes
on
like
a record.
it becomes like an event.
Right.
You have to like plan for it.
Yeah.
You have to take it out. You have to put the record on, put the needle on, like the whole thing. You can't just press a button on YouTube or on Apple Music or whatever and
Yeah.
then it plays for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. And for a
Yeah.
while, I was collecting records at the same time. I signed up for, I signed up for MeUndies later, but I signed up for MeUndies, which is, I'm sure, we're on a podcast.
Yeah,
You've heard
yeah.
of MeUndies. So you get a monthly pair of underwear. So every time I'd get a monthly pair of underwear, a new pair of underwear, I'd find a record that would match in color, and then I'd dance to it, and I'd post it on Instagram. So I have a whole Instagram of me dancing in MeUndies to my record collection, and it was a lot of fun. It gave me
Interesting.
a reason to listen to my records
Oh,
also.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
I remember going to record stores and buying used records when I was like 18 or 19 years old, and they were like $1. Like
Yeah.
you could just buy used
Yeah, that's how I
records.
got some of the ones.
And now
from
I
that.
wish I had bought every single
Right?
one. Like and there were thousands and thousands. People would just
Yep.
get rid of them.
get rid of them, and the record stores would sell them for like $1.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I wonder if like VHS are going to be worth a lot of money. Like
Probably not.
the hard to find ones, maybe.
Yeah, there
if
are
they're not
some
open.
that are still hard to find that are worth a good amount
Or
of
in
money.
certain video games, like old Mario, if you have an unopened Super Mario box, like that's
It's true. People
lot
collect
of money.
everything.
yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Anyway, Vinyl Record Day was created by a company, the Vinyl Record Day Company. It's a nonprofit organization dedicated to recognizing and preserving vinyl music, its culture, art, and sound. And obviously, it's a format that was given up for dead when the CD and digital audio arrived on the scene, but they're back. And now there's 2 holidays today, which we're celebrating, and hopefully we'll celebrate the other one, which is Record Store Day, which I celebrate every year. But it's actually, they do it twice a year now. This year, of course, there was supposed to be one on, there's always one around 420. That's how I remember them. It's always on around 420. I think it's like the 21st usually. Sometimes it's the 19th. I think it depends on the day of the week. And then there's always one on Black Friday. So this year they're doing like a digital version of it, which will be weird. But either way, it's cool. Yeah.
Have you been to the Bananas? Is it Bananas?
Yeah,
The one on
Bananas was the
22nd
first
or
record
20?
store I ever went to as a kid, and I went to not the location where it's at now. They had like a warehouse. I don't know if they had, and I went in there, and it's crazy. It's just like walls
Rows.
lined with like old records, and it's like you have to flip through them to see what you're.
I just think it's very cool that record stores are back.
Yeah,
Like they all went out, for years you could hardly find a record store.
Yeah, now there's a lot of them.
In the town that I grew up with, there was a record store that had been there for years before I even found it as a kid. And it lasted another 10, 15 years and then went out of business. Records died. But then now it's back. Like it came back.
Nice. The
And
same.
It moved to a new location, but now it's back and bigger than ever. Like
That's
better
awesome.
than ever.
Good for
They
them.
have so much shit in there. It's amazing.
Bananas has been around since 1977, so I think they probably been here the longest. I know Daddy Cool has been around a pretty long time too, but I'm not sure.
Robert, what was the record store that we walked into that one day?
I don't remember the name of it, but it was
Where was
on
it?
like
Planet Retro? Is it
it
here?
was on
Yeah,
9th Street or
might have
something
been.
like
Yeah,
that.
I think it's
Planet
Planet
Retro. I
Retro.
think
They've
that's it.
moved recently.
But it was around 9th Street. It
Yeah.
was like downtown. Okay,
Yeah,
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 It was
yeah.
like on a little side street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a cool place.
It was a small little place. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you're talking about Planet Retro. But there's a few. Those are the only three that I've been to around here.
Right.
But yeah, so that's what today's about.
Celebrating records.
Celebrating Music.
records,
Cool music,
preserving vinyl music.
the way music was intended. I don't know. The way it was originally created. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
The
know.
original format. Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know.
I guess recorded wise, how else would you listen to music before that, except for going someplace? Like big band stuff? You go to
Well, I think records have been around for years, right? I mean, before they came out with, what are they, 38s? Like, what was the
right,
size?
they had the
There
smaller
was
ones.
the
But I'm
different
saying
ones.
before record, any kind of
Well, the other format back then was like an 8-track player,
Right.
which was kind of a cassette. It was a bigger, weird
it was a
looking
big
cassette.
one, right?
They were like, I guess like that.
Okay.
Hey, but you plugged them in, and the difference, which made when the cassette came out super, amazing, was that you couldn't fast forward.
Oh yeah.
Like you could only click the button to go to different tracks,
Okay.
but they always didn't line up with the beginning of a song. So you might click and get to the middle of the second
Oh
song,
God, that's annoying.
Yeah.
but then the beginning of the third song, then the middle of the third. So the tracks didn't go. They didn't coincide for where you wanted to go. If they did, that would have been great. You know,
yeah.
all right, track one, nah, I don't really like this one. Track two, but you just never knew where it was going to be.
Right.
And you couldn't, fast forward. If you hated the song, you had to just wait until it was over.
That sounds-
At least with records, you can kind of see the
lines,
grooves or the
yeah.
grooves
You can
stop
you
and
can guess
restart.
with a record. It was
Yeah.
it's not perfect, but it's a lot
It's a lot
better.
yeah.
Right.
And you could, like I said before, you could always you would pick it up and be like, I think this song, and you put it down and you miss, and it's like, I got 30 more seconds of this to listen
to the next one.
or
Yeah.
I jumped by, I'm like 15, 20 seconds into the song that I like. Do I mess with it and try to find the beginning? Nah, I'm just going to listen.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Makes sense.
Cool.
So I think to celebrate, go buy a new record,
Listen to a record.
listen to a record, buy a new record.
Buy a new record. Go just hang out at the local record store.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what I always like too. I didn't. Keep the conversation going.
Go ahead.
There
As we're winding
is
down.
the 45s. Did you ever collect the single?
I
Yeah,
have
the
some,
singles.
I have some 45s.
I always thought those were always cool. Me and my friends would always be so excited when our favorite bands would put out the single before the album would come out.
Are those the ones with the giant hole in
Yeah,
you
with
need
the giant hole.
45
Exactly.
thing to
Yes,
plug in there.
that's what made me think. I don't remember. That thing has a name, and I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah, I think the record player I bought had that too, like a
Yeah, I think
converter
they
or
usually
something,
come.
whatever,
They
on top.
usually come
Yeah.
with them.
Yeah, but we would be so excited because the bands would always put out fancy, elaborate jackets for them.
Yeah.
They'd all have pictures on them, and they were all collectible and super cool to buy. And then you got to hear the songs, that the radio would be playing.
Right, yeah, the hit songs.
The hit songs before, or what the record company thought was going to be the hit song
Right.
before their album came out and stuff. So
I
that was
love
always
collecting vinyl records, but it's so expensive.
They
now.
are expensive.
It's so,
Yeah,
and
I feel
like
especially because you can get them
$30
in when I was dating my ex, he was huge into collecting them. I had hundreds and hundreds of records between the two of us, and when we broke up, I only kept the ones that I purchased.
Right.
So my collection's not as big, but we were collecting bands would release an album and they would release different colors.
fun.
Oh,
Vinyl.
Yes.
And then there's different pressings.
Right.
So we've had it made it easier when we split up because we could just kind of split. We had multiple copies of a lot of records, so we could just split them up that way. But it gets expensive.
Yeah.
They
See,
are expensive.
if I don't really collect much anymore records. I don't really buy much But if I did, I would only want like the original pressings, like
Right.
used original ones. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want the reissue
Right.
rumors. You know what I mean? Like I'd want the original one.
Yeah,
And
but
those
even
are
that is
expensive.
super expensive.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
even
are
to buy
expensive.
used, they're so
Yeah.
expensive. We went to that record store and I was looking at ones that I do have. They were like $30, $40
That's
to
what I'm
buy.
saying. 30
Yeah.
I
something
was like,
dollars.
holy
I was
crap!
like, ugh.
I bought this for $1 used. You know,
Mhm.
now it's like $40.
Yeah, you could probably make a pretty penny off of your collection.
Probably could.
Maybe
Considered selling it at
retirement.
one time, and I'm kind of glad I didn't.
Why don't you just open up your own record store and then sell them?
I would love to. That's,
That would be
yeah.
awesome.
Would be
That'd
amazing.
be your dream.
I would
If you do
open
that,
up.
I'll work for you.
Yeah. If you make it like a whole collectible store where you have VHS and DVDs too, I'll work there.
Believe
too.
me, I can. I can. What can I do? Comics and
Yeah,
other
everything.
Stuff too?
Well,
That's
anything
how
that's
Daddy
collectible.
Cool. Daddy
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
They used to do comics too when Vicky worked there, but yeah, they had all of that
I mean, just like used stuff, like
And
any of that
posters.
stuff. Yeah, posters,
and comics and toys.
Little, I was gonna say like little action
Collectible toys.
figures
Well,
and
those
stuff
are
like
my
that.
favorite things in the world. I always dreamed of owning a collectible store like that. So sure, let's do it.
Let's do
Yeah.
it, guys.
I'm down.
Let's go.
Now's
Like
the
that.
time.
All right, well, this is the
Amber's
day.
going to be
This
there,
is
so
the
come.
day.
Everybody, come in and see Amber.
Yeah.
Maybe
Just me.
maybe she'll dance
Sure.
in her undies for
Yeah,
you.
I'll dance
While
in
she
my
Direct
listens
to
to
new records.
Or you can look at I stopped doing it because Instagram, when Instagram became a Facebook thing, they started paying attention to copyright. And even though I was only playing like 30 seconds of a song, because
Yeah,
that's
they
all you
can't.
could put, they would take down my post for copyright. And now they're finally starting to like re-put them back up.
Oh,
like
wow.
they unblocked
It's weird
them.
that I don't
So if
understand
you-
the copyright stuff.
Me neither. Like if I'm not even playing a whole song, and I was not only just I would shout out the artist. I'd put all the details of the record, like every detail of the record, the artist, the record name, the title of the song, like, and then every detail about the record, what pressing it was, what year it came out, and all that. So like,
But I think
I don't
it's-
understand how that's copywriting. Like, if anything, I might be helping him sell some music.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
Yeah, that's why I like the whole copyright thing is weird. Like I used to hear that you could only play 15 seconds of a song, like on
Right.
anything, like for free. But then now I just read some guy did like a article on copyright. He's like, guys, that's not even true. Like
Yeah,
you
I'm
technically can't
Can't do
even play
anything.
that. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can't play any. But like it's weird because like there's so many loopholes around certain situations.
Right.
Like I've seen people on YouTube create videos or do lip syncing and stuff. I'm like, well, how did they get away with it?
Mhm.
Right.
Like you're doing lip syncing.
Well, that's why artists are always complaining that people are stealing their music.
right.
They
My
don't get
thing that
paid.
I
They
always
wanna get
thought
paid for that.
Well, I always thought it was weird is I read that also if you use an artist's music but then make up your own lyrics for that music, like you can classify that
That's a
under like
spoof or
satire or
whatever.
spoof.
Yeah.
Whereas like but you can't do it the other way. You can't use their lyrics on a
Different
different
music.
song. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's like weird.
That's also weird.
I don't know.
I don't know all the legalities to it,
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
but that sucks.
That's above my pay grade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Leave that to
Exactly.
the experts like Robert.
Yeah.
Well,
If
okay.
you want to check out my Instagram, that's slowly going down and coming back up because of copywriting. It's Pimpson, the number 7 vinyl. Look it up.
There you go.
Yeah.
But I'm
Nice.
not posting anymore. Mostly because I need a new record player, so
Yeah.
I don't want to fuck up. Speaking of that, you can use this day as an opportunity to make sure that you're keeping your collection in top shape, and you can do that by cleaning your record prior to every time you play it with a record brush. Cleaning the stylus, that's the tiny little diamond tip that tracks the grooves of your record. Store the records properly. In a lot of movies, you'll see records just like, stacked on top of each other.
yeah.
That's going to warp them. So you want to store them vertically, usually in like a case or something like that. IKEA sells them. That's what I have. And then upgrade your turntable, which I am hopefully doing when I start making money again. I need a new one.
Yeah, I need to do that.
I thought you
better
still
the-
had 2 turntables and
And a microphone.
And a microphone.
okay, yeah,
Thanks.
I actually do. I do have 2 turntables, but they're both
but not the
awful.
microphone.
I don't have. I probably have like a Rock Band microphone somewhere.
Talking into a microphone right now. You
Oh wow,
That one's yours.
Oh,
Mind blown.
boom,
This is mine. I put probably my germs are the most on this one.
probably you or Jack.
That's true. Damn it.
Anyways, yeah. So there's a lot of ways you can celebrate.
Yeah.
So-
Send us your picture of your collection.
Yeah,
We'll post
Yeah.
ours. I'll have Ian send me a picture of his.
on
Yeah,
Instagram.
I like it.
Cool.
Do we have a cake? I think we have a cake.
I think
I
we
think
need
you
a
can.
black
A black
record.
shaped cake. Yes.
That would be amazing.
That would be pretty cool. I think I've seen one before.
I think I have too.
Probably. Me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, I think a record cake.
And you put on a
pretty
record.
common.
and you cut it with like the arm or whatever of the record.
arm.
Yeah, what's it called?
The
Is that-
stylus.
Is that the? I thought the
Yeah.
little tip part was.
Well,
the
that
stylus.
is the stylus. The arm.
We
I
used
was
to
talking
call,
about the
we used to
whole
call that
arm.
the needle.
The needle.
The needle,
Yeah.
yeah. I was talking about the whole arm thing.
The arm.
Just
yeah,
like
yeah.
slide
I
it
think
through
it's called the arm. I think the arm works.
That works.
and cut it right
There might
through.
be some other name, but we don't care.
Technical name.
Technical.
It looks like an arm.
Yeah.
And then put on your favorite record or
Yeah.
something that
That's
has
it.
to do with cake.
I mean, it is a party, so you need music.
Just
Put on
prop
a
your
record.
feet up. Yeah. Actually, this is one of the days where you could like just celebrate, have some people over and listen to a record and eat cake and then just chat.
Yeah.
Cool.
Sounds great.
That sounds like the perfect day to me.
Sounds
Perfect
like
day.
a perfect day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, maybe we'll talk about records again on Record Store Day. But till then, thank you for joining us, Ian,
My pleasure. It's been a
Robert.
great time.
as always.
As always.
And I am Amber. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
This has been a Seven Lamb production.